Hey, Wakusa, what's going on, family? It's Yundugu, Shaka Jajaga Shakur, aka Mkasa the Bush Doctor, with another episode of the Bush LyFe, back at you, episode 2. And in this is the first part of a two-part series. Today we're going to be building a workstation from the ground up. And then part 2, we'll be working on an anvil stand, because I do a little blacksmithing. So I'm going to show you a picture of the finished products, and then we're going to roll right into it. And as always, if you like what you see, subscribe and help grow the channel. Thank you for your support. So what I'm doing here is making some table legs, and I'm gluing the pieces together. I got me some 2x4x8s, and I cut them down to about 4 feet, and I'm doubling them up. Now 4 feet is kind of high for a table, but since the table is going to be outdoors, it's going to shift and sink eventually, into the ground. So I made it a little bit higher to be able to lose a little height and still maintain the overall stability. So what you have here now is I'm taking the legs and putting them in an L pattern side by side to give it more reinforcement. I actually got the idea from looking at another YouTube channel, and I was like, you know what? I think that's a good idea. Usually I would just back the wood up, side by side or back to back. But this turned out to be a better suggestion, and it works. So here I go. So after finally completing all 4 legs, what I'm doing now is putting a cross bracket between the legs to create that side support and the beginning of what will be the bottom half of the table. So that's what it's doing. I'm using all of this is 2x4s, 3-inch screws, and all deckwood screws though, and a couple of 4-inch screws just to give it some strength. It'll balance itself out once you put the brackets on, so you really don't got to worry about the screws coming out or anything. And also angle the screws when you put them in. Now, as you can see on the table, I have a bottle of glue. That's Gorilla Glue, especially for wood. It's like a wood cement. And I put it in between any pieces of wood that I'm putting together. You don't need a little bit of do. But down the line, it helps to lock the wood in tighter. So as you put the screw in, plus the glue, you won't have to worry about separation as the table shifts, and because it's outside, it's going to shift with the weight. You don't have to worry about any of that. Literally, I put the glue in, and in about a minute or 2 later, it was dried up and sealed. So I do suggest getting some Gorilla Glue when you do your projects. As far as supplies, all you need is some screws. I use 3-inch and 4-inch deck screws, right? Basic power drill, and like I said, the glue and clamps. I work by myself, so having those clamps makes it a lot easier, to hold the ends together while I work on the other end, etc. And you can get them in a 4-pack. I bought all this stuff from Home Depot. It cost me about, $50 altogether. Now, I'm not sponsored by Home Depot. I'm just telling you where I got it from, but I'm quite sure you can get it at any hardware store. I just go to Home Depot. yeah, I just want you to know that, like, as you're doing these projects, you're gonna learn more each time from your mistakes. Like, even as I was building this table, I made mistakes along the way and I was able to correct them and learn from them. And every project is gonna turn out a little better than the last project. So don't be discouraged. Keep trying, keep studying, and you only get better with time. Practice indeed makes perfect. So here I am still putting on the side braces for the legs. And I just want to say to everybody, like, it's important that we learn to do these skills, learn to build things, so we can stop the consumerism, stop spending all our money on things that you could do yourself. And there's no greater pride than knowing that you did it for yourself. You look back on it and you're able to pass it on, you're able to teach skills to your children and loved ones. It's a beautiful thing. And that's something that I think, we as a people need. We definitely need to get back into doing for self. And no better way than starting with the things you need every day. Because after all, necessity is the mother of all creation and invention. So now that I got the legs complete and secured on both sides, what I'm doing now is I'm putting the cross beam, which is really the table itself, the upper beams that are going to hold up the top of the table. So it's really like a puzzle, man. You put the two sides on, then you put the top on, and you see me here trying to get it together best I can by myself. But that's what's taking place now. And I think I used 6 feet. Yeah, there was 6 feet on each side. The table is 6 foot by about 4 foot long, or 3 feet long, excuse me. as you see here, this is exactly what I mean about using the clamps as like a second person, as opposed to propping them up or finding some, funny way of doing it. You just clamp the pieces together, and then you can get a chance to see exactly where you want it. You can level it out by eye, or you can use the leveler to get it even. That's up to you. But clamps are a savior. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding an extra piece of wood for support for the table. And also I decided, you know what, let me put this extra piece of wood here so that I can later on add some hooks in it, and that'd be a real cool place to hang my tools to keep everything in order, as well as support the table overall. I mean, you can't have too much support. right, well, here I am, frame done. Now I just gotta add the rest to it and we're good to go. All right, so here I am, day 2, fresh and early. What I'm doing now is leveling off the table, and I'm actually getting ready to start cutting the plywood to add the tabletop. I got like a 3/4 inch plywood. I think I paid like, I don't know, $20, $30 for it. So again, me and my favorite friends, the clamps, we are putting down this plywood. I'm getting ready to hit it with the hand saw and get it done real quick, circular saw, and knock it out 1, 2, 3. All right, so I'm gonna cut the wood, and it wasn't exactly the straightest cut at all, but I didn't want to get too close and damage the table. So I cut it to the best of my ability, and then I figure later on I'll just take a sander or a planer and hit it and really square it off really good. But again, it's just a work table, so you don't gotta go crazy. And now I'm hitting it with the screws. It's the last part, securing the tabletop down to the frame. I did 3-inch screws, and I did it kind of in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And on the ends, I put 2 on each end just to hold it down a little more. I'm a secure nut. I like to have everything nice and secure. Plus, I'm gonna be doing work on this table, so I don't want the banging to shift anything. It's gonna be a lot of banging, a lot of weight moving around. Just wanna make sure it's good. I'm just kind of hitting it around the sides with the sander just to get rid of any splinters or cracks that might be in the wood that could cause someone to get hurt. It's just a basic hand sanding, nothing too deep. So of course, at the last minute, I decided, you know what? Let's put an extra level on this. Let's build a shelf. So I went and got some scrap wood, cut it down to 2 feet, and then I'm gonna put it in between, screw it on, and take the rest of the plywood that's left and make a shelf on the bottom. Okay, here I go, screwing in the screws for the bottom supports that are going to hold the shelf. It's a bit of a workout, I tell you. If you haven't stretched, you should stretch before building a table. Okay, we're just about at the end of this project. Family, sometimes I often wonder to myself, and I think about my ancestors and how they had to make these things happen on a regular basis because there was no Home Depot to go to. And I'm just glad that I'm able to share these things with you and learn from some of you out there and keep these traditions alive. And that's what Bush LyFe is all about. It's about, self-reliance, self-determination, and keeping the tradition of doing for self alive. So if you like it, hit that subscribe button and keep following, man. Let's build this channel. And I thank you for your support. And voila, here we have it. The final product. There it is. All right, y'all. Wake up, clean up, stand up. Wukusu.